Every year, Lutherans from around South Carolina descend upon a single location. There, we talk and we listen. We worship and eat. We sit and stand and sing and pray. We call this event the Synod Assembly. You may have heard of this amazing gathering. Your pastor or deacon or council leader may have invited you to participate. But perhaps you have never been. Perhaps you do not know the wonder and are left to ask, like many Lutherans, what is Synod Assembly? I'm Pastor Emily Hartmann, assistant to the bishop in the ELCA South Carolina Synod, and I'm here to answer this frequently asked question as part of our series of Lutheran F.A.Q. So what is Synod Assembly? Synod Assembly is when we get as many South Carolina Lutherans as we can into one room, with court order of course, to do the business of the Synod. While we're there, we do what we do best. We learn about God and we worship God. We talk among ourselves. We hear what God has been up to in the last year among our South Carolina ELCA congregations, institutions, and people, and we pay attention to where God might show up in the year to come. We do all this because our Constitution, the document that shapes how our Synod works, says that we will. More importantly, we do it because it's a way for us to connect and reconnect, for us to join together in committing to the ministry that we share in this place, and for us to do the things we need to do so that we can empower the work that God is doing through our hands. There's a list of things that we need to accomplish for the business of the Synod. Every year, we elect people to leadership positions on Synod Council and other boards. Every year, we talk about the budget and approve it before the next year starts. Every year, we hear reports from the bishop, the ELCA, Synod institutions, and others. Then there's some things that we do simply because we aren't going to miss the opportunity. We worship together. Each year, a team including pastors, deacons, and musicians cultivates different worship services where we can praise God, pray for our world, and sing with one voice. Each year, we have a keynote speaker and Bible studies so that we can learn and grow in faith together. Each year, we take up an offering to support God's work in a particular way. Each year, we take time to be together, time where we can get to know our sisters and brothers across the Synod and have some fun while we're at it. If you were going to Synod Assembly this year, here's what you might want to expect. You should dress in layers because those big assembly halls and hotel ballrooms can get cold. You should expect to see people you recognize as you wander the halls and take the escalator. You should expect to see people you don't know yet who have great stories to share. There will be more pastors in the room than moms in a toy store, and some of them will be in suits and collars and some of them in jeans and button-downs. You'll get to meet deacons and be excited when they tell you what it is that they do for a living. The big assembly hall is usually set up with round tables. The stage up front has lecterns for the presenters and seats for the Synod Council officers. Congregations usually sit together, and often they'll share a table with some Lutherans from another South Carolina church home. There are visitors who might be from other parts of the church, curious local Lutherans, or even a bishop from one of our companion synods across the world. There's always room to get up when your legs need a stretch, and places to stand if that helps you focus. A piano or musical ensemble is often up front to guide us in some hymns when we need a break. There are also display tables from different ministry partners of the South Carolina Synod. These might include Newberry College or Southern Seminary, Lutheran Church Youth, a mission congregation, or a pastor or congregation that wants to share a special ministry or event with the Synod. These are excellent places to chat with people, pick up swag, and see who has the best candy. Synod Assembly has plenty of rules and announcements. That's to keep everything in good order and keep us all moving in the right direction. If we don't follow the right procedure in our voting, for example, it can take time to redo the work that we've done. Just pay attention to your agenda and the big screens, and you'll get where you're going. Synod Assembly has also gone high-tech. All of our documents are available online, which helps everyone stay organized. It also means that everyone can see what we are doing. Nothing is done in secret at Synod Assembly. We even stream the sessions so that people can watch along from home or work. We use voting machines instead of paper ballots when we can. It keeps the process moving and helps us get our results a lot faster. In 2020, we had our first online Synod Assembly. We did that because the global pandemic meant that things had to change. We knew that we would miss being all together, but we found out that there were also some advantages. People who had a hard time traveling could participate fully, and the costs to congregations and to the Synod were a lot lower. In the coming years, we have a few more online assemblies planned, as well as in-person assemblies. One thing that can vary by the year is what we call memorials or resolutions. These are documents where a few people can bring something important to them to the entire assembly. We use these to thank and welcome people, as well as to discuss various issues. Recently, resolutions have brought our attention to capital punishment and to the effects of communal trauma. The Assembly can do many different things with these documents. We can vote to adopt them and carry out the plans they recommend. We can edit them, changing words or phrases, even adding or subtracting paragraphs before things come to a vote. We can decide not to adopt them and move right along with the next agenda item. We can refer them to Synod Council so that they can decide what to do after collecting more information or having a more in-depth conversation. We can also send memorials to the next church-wide assembly for the ELCA to discuss as a whole. Any group of members of a South Carolina Synod congregation can bring a memorial or resolution, even if they aren't a voting member of that year's assembly. These documents are due well ahead of time so that our Reference and Council Committee can look them over and make recommendations to the Assembly, which the Assembly can then agree with or disagree with. South Carolinians don't always have things they want to talk about in this way, but it's always a possibility. Each Synod Assembly is a different experience. Each year we have a different theme, different keynote speakers, different Bible studies, different worship leaders. Each year, though, we are gathered by God to do the work we need to do to continue the ministry and mission we share. I hope that you'll join me at Assembly this year or in one of the years coming up. I'll look forward to seeing you there. Thanks for letting me join in your conversation today. I hope you'll continue the discussion when you email me or comment below with your questions and insights. You can keep up with other Lutheran F.A.Q. by subscribing to the South Carolina Synod YouTube channel as well. You'll also find a handout to continue your thoughts and discussion in the comments below. I look forward to being with you again soon. Until then, keep asking good questions, and peace be with you.